Well, good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. I'm Carissa Wiley. Welcome to my craft room. Today we're going to craft, we're going to chat, I'm going to answer your questions. We're going to see what I can create using some Gina K products, and I'm really excited that you are all here. If you've already hit that thumbs up button, I thank you so much. I see 5 of you out here who have done that, and I just want to say thank you for that. Your support really means the world to me. Keep the comments coming because I love to read them as I'm chatting. And I just wanted to give everybody a few minutes to pop in here. Hi, Linda from Michigan. Good morning to everybody. I realize that it's morning or afternoon, depending where you're at. This time just kind of worked well for me today. I actually have a lunch that I'm headed to a little bit later today to celebrate my sister-in-law's birthday. So I'm going to go do that. Happy birthday, Kara. Her birthday was actually Monday. And so we're celebrating her today because it was easier. She has daughters and our daughters and our families kind of get like sad when we leave them on our birthdays. So we're going to celebrate today. Hello from North Carolina. Is it Mirsha? My eyes are not focusing. I hope I'm saying your name right. And Carol's here, Heather's here, Linda's here, Paula's here, Sharita's here, Belinda, Patty D. And thank you all for being here. I really appreciate that. And Marianne just popped in. So as you probably may already know, if you follow me on Instagram, and by the way, if you want to follow me on Instagram, the link is in the YouTube description. You know that I'm going to be using Gina K products today. She was so lovely to send me a gift card not too long ago and let me shop and pick out a few things for my stash. I hadn't had a chance to use them in like a pre-recorded video. And so today when I went live, I thought that would be the perfect time to use that. Now, I do want to say something. I have it in my schedule to start going live more often. And so I'm really looking forward to going live more often, and I hope that you can join me for those. So I'm going to try to do it weekly. It doesn't mean that I will always get to it because of my nurse job. My schedule changes, and so I'm going to try to do a better job at going live more often, and this is just the start of that. And so I have someone like another product line on my sites for next week. And so I hope you'll be able to join me. So let's do like a little picture in picture for a second, because there's a couple things I want to talk to you about. The first one is the Crafty Advent Calendar from Spellbinders. If you have never seen this is a 24-day Advent calendar that you start opening on December 1st. Has a variety of crafting products. If you go over to my Instagram, I have, I think, a highlight reel of one of the Crafty Advent calendars from a couple years ago. But I popped over to the Spellbinders site this morning to check this out, and it's on massive sale. So if you're looking for like a little something for December, a little Crafty Advent calendar, this is fabulous. They also have the Stitchmas videos, the Stitchmas Advent calendar available on their site, along with the Stitch Along kit. I have already created with that, and I'm telling you, it's adorable. Even if you're not super into stitching on paper, this is something great that you can use with or without stitching. So check that out. They have the Stitch Along kit. I do have links to those in the YouTube description below. So that was one thing I wanted to talk about. The other thing is, and who mentioned it already? I saw someone mention it. They said, Paula, no. It was Belinda, said that she was watching my video over on the YouTube channel for Pink Fresh Studio. I do have a new video on the Pink Fresh Studio YouTube channel today. It's a holiday card, so if you want to check that out, you can head on over there later. Last thing, if you have not already, I would love it if you would hit that thumbs up, subscribe, turn on the notifications here. I love seeing all you around here. And if you want to share this video, I'm happy for you to do that as well. But let's put this stuff aside now that we have all that business out of the way. And we'll kind of look at some of the stuff that I'm going to be creating with today. I'm not going to use all of this, but I am going to use a few things. So Linda, yes, I do nursing and crafting. I do a little bit of everything, and I'm super busy all the time, but I don't know that I would know how to sit still any other way. So I just go with it. And I really enjoy this. I am a part-time nurse at a pediatric unit here in my local hospital. And so if you didn't know that about me, I do that as well. But I have some, let me put this, I kind of sketched out, my sketches are really like sad, but I know what they mean, and nobody else is really looking at them except for here. I'm showing it to you, right? And I have my little list of things I want to talk about. But I have 2 sketches. I don't know that we'll have time for both cards, but I was going to first create this one here, which I have an idea for a shaker card. And that features this adorable little Best Friends Forever mini set. So I have the stamps and the coordinating dies that I'm going to use today. I also thought I would bring in the sunshine die plate. And if I have time for card number 2, which I don't know, because I'm quite a talker, and I have a shaker card planned. So I'm not sure that card 2 is going to happen. But card 2, I was going to combine this Master Layouts 15 with this stamp and envelope stamp here and kind of do that. But let's go on card number 1. Couple other things to check out from Gina K. This is a great basic to have in your set, and it coordinates really well with this birthday sparkle stamp and coordinating die set here. So if you wanted to pick up some birthday products from Gina K. And I loved this strawberry set when I saw it come out and was released on her site, and I thought that was so cute. So I picked that up as well. And I do have some inks. I'm not sure how much inking we're going to do today because I'm going to do some embossing. So let's get started with card number 1. And we're going to start with this little cell phone stamp. And this is going to be, hopefully, if all works, my shaker element. And what I thought I would do is take this and emboss it on some colored cardstock, because I find that that is a little bit easier for me than coloring, especially when I'm doing it on camera. And I like to go with the things that I enjoy. And sometimes I enjoy coloring, but sometimes I don't. And so I just thought we would emboss. Colleen, no worries on being just a little late. We're actually just now starting. I've been blabbing this whole time. So there you go. I'm going to trim down my cardstock just so that it fits nicely in my MISTI, and I don't need much of this. I am going to use, this is blush cardstock from the Stamp Market. Their blush pink is my favorite pink. Of all the pinks in all the lands, it is my favorite. It's just a really nice, soft, and kind of warm pink. So I'm going to place my cardstock in the corner of my MISTI stamping tool. I have it seated right in that lower right-hand corner. I've been told that I use my MISTI stamping tool wrong. You do it how it makes you feel good, right? And it feels good opening like a book for me. So that's how I use my MISTI. Those strawberries are huge, Frida, and I think that they would make a nice, clean and simple focal point on a card. So that's why I picked them up. So I'm prepping the surface of my cardstock with a powder tool. And then I'm going to set my stamp down onto the cardstock, and I'll just kind of prime it just a bit. Remember, we're going to be embossing this. So whenever I'm embossing, I like to make sure that I prep the surface of my cardstock with a powder tool before I stamp. I'm inking up with some Versamark ink, and I'm going to stamp this onto my cardstock. And let me know out there, it's actually been a beautiful couple days in California. The weather has been beautiful. It's going to be like in the high 80s, I think, and then we go back into the 90s and then the low hundreds. But for now, it's been kind of a nice couple of days, and so hopefully you're experiencing that as well. Are you all feeling like the itch for like fall vibes? Starbucks just released their fall drinks this morning, if you didn't know. And I'm like, too soon, Starbucks, too soon. So I would love the fall weather, but when the fall weather isn't matching with the fall drinks, I'm like, it's 100 degrees outside. I cannot drink a pumpkin spice latte, right? Anybody with me on that? So I've inked that up. I've stamped it onto my cardstock. I'm going to add some white embossing powder. Dana, thanks for joining on your lunch. I hope that this is a great way for you to kind of take a moment and kind of escape the noise of work. I know on my breaks, I like to just kind of veg a little bit when I'm at work. Heather says they're in the 70s in San Diego. That sounds beautiful. And Linda says Michigan's been in the 70s and it feels like fall. So maybe Starbucks in Michigan is perfect, but here in California, it's too soon. It's too soon. So I am going to now turn on my heat tool. And I kind of did, I'm dropping things everywhere. I did warm this up prior to going live so that we could, you know, move along with this, but I'm going to let it heat up and then I'm going to hit this with my heat tool. And some of you are saying that, Linda says that pumpkin is a year-round flavor for her. So she's ready for it. And some people are drinking the cold brew versions of the pumpkin spice, which is, I guess that could be acceptable in my book. So I've melted that embossing powder. And when you look at your embossing powder, you just want to make sure that there's no like grainy parts. So you know it's melted when it's nice and smooth. So I'm going to set that aside and we'll cut that out with a die in just a moment. But I'm going to go ahead and grab some white cardstock and I'm going to stamp this onto some white cardstock using some Gina K Obsidian Black Amalgam ink. It is my favorite black ink. It just is, it's just good, you know? And it's perfect for using for watercolor and Copic markers. So it's kind of one of those all-in-one. So let's grab that out of my drawer. And I'm going to stamp this seam, and this will make sense, I hope, here in just a moment, why I'm doing this. And in my brain, I've kind of worked this out, but I haven't created this card before, so we're just going with it. 110 in Arizona. We had a Prickly Pink Crafter. We had a couple of 115 days back in July for us here in Central California. That's pretty hot. So I can relate. It's a dry heat, as we all like to say. Oh, a Little Debbie distributor. You know what I love? Colleen from Little Debbie. And my daughter loves them too. I think my husband loves them too. The oatmeal cookie, cream cookie things. So good. Okay, so we're going to stamp this in black. I double stamped it just for good measure. And then I'm going to go ahead and set this aside. And we're going to grab the dies, the coordinating dies, and die cut those out. Now, I will eventually do a sentiment and we'll die cut those as well. But for now, we're just going to do this because I know where I'm going in my mind with this for now. And do you have an order that you craft in? I kind of have an order. And usually the sentiment is towards the end. So I'm using my Anna Griffin Impress machine today to do my die cutting. I like to cut into the magnetic sheet. It's not technically in the manual, but someone has told me that they've seen Anna Griffin herself do it before. I've never had any problems with it. So I do it because it works for me. Have you ever had a double-decker oatmeal cream pie? No, but that sounds amazing, Colleen. Clearly, I am not in need of sweets. I've been kind of I was off the sugar wagon for quite a little stint there, and then I kind of we went on a cruise this summer, and I just fell right off that wagon. And I'm having a hard time getting back on the no sugar wagon. I know it's good for me and I know I should stay away from it, but that sounds amazing. So everybody's talking about the oatmeal cream cookies. So look at how wonderful that cut out. Now, if you wanted to color this with Copic markers, totally could. And when somebody in the comments help me out, because we're talking about cookies and then I just thought about Girl Scout cookies. When do Girl Scout cookies come around? Is that like over for this year, for 2024 already? Or is that something that's getting ready to kick off? I generally don't buy Girl Scout cookies. So we have an interesting situation in our house. My husband has extreme allergy to milk products. So anything with milk, cream, butter, cheese, milk, all those things. So we don't get a lot of Girl Scout cookies because I'm not sure that there's a lot that he can have. Although if you find a lot of these things that seem like they're cream, they're actually like oils and stuff. But we don't often get Girl Scout cookies because we don't know what he can have and what he can't. And so anyway, I'm just wondering when those kick off. My husband does like the zebra things from Little Debbie, and he can have those. So, okay. So we have our two pieces here, and this just seems like, what are you doing? I know what I'm doing. I'm going to take, and I know several people have asked if you can cut on your glass craft mat. I do cut into my glass craft mat, but I'm also not putting a ton of pressure on it. And it probably does have some like really slight marks on it from cutting into it, but I guess I like to break the rules. I don't know, because I'm cutting into a glass craft mat. I'm cutting into my magnetic mat. No, this is not going to be what I want to do. So my idea is that we're just going to cut out the center of this. And this may take a minute, but it's going to be worth it because we're going to make this little cell phone a shaker. Okay, so I'm going to get the cut started. I'm trying not to get my head in your way too much, but I'm just going really slowly to go along that line. And I'm just kind of not putting a ton of pressure all at once. I'm getting the line started, kind of scoring into the cardstock with the first couple passes, and then just kind of going back over that area to cut out the center. Now, do you have to do this? No, you don't. You could use this as it is. In fact, I think it would be really cute to take this stamp and to like mask off the outer area and stamp like a pattern or something just onto the screen. So you could mask off this and the outline of the phone and then just stamp something on the screen like it's your wallpaper on your phone. So let me just focus on this for just a second. Okay. So we'll see. It's an idea. Someone said it's a cool idea. It's an idea. We'll see if we can make it happen. It's ambitious. That's I'm thinking. But in my head, I kind of ran through it last night as I was looking at these products. A lot of times I'm like, what does this product tell me it wants? And I looked at this and I thought that would be the most adorable little shaker card. And so that's what I'm going to do with it. Let the product speak to me. Okay, the part that's going to be difficult is going around this speech bubble. And so that's the part where I'm like a little bit worried because these straight lines, they're not that difficult. So are you all comfortable with a craft knife? Is that like something that's out of your comfort zone? I do often recommend that you like just do something out of your comfort zone, because you just never know until you try it, right? Not doing a great job on this little corner here, but part of my thing is I don't want to stick my head like right in your guys' overhead view. And I've definitely felt like in the last maybe 3 weeks or so that my eyes are starting to change a little bit. That gives it away. I'm getting to that age. So one of the things that we did on vacation, I see like the talk about sweets, and one of the things that we did, because there was a lot of like relaxing time on the cruise, is we got steps in, and that helped a lot. But I have a hard time implementing that at home because I just feel like I'm so busy all the time, and it's like a time thing for me. Oh, ABC shaker bits. That would be cute. I'm going to just use sequins because I have these really adorable mirror ball sequins from Gina K that I think would be so cute. Okay. So I'm getting the straight parts done, like these straight lines. And I think once I get those done, I might just come in with a pair of scissors for the curved part of the speech bubble. It's really getting into those where the lines meet that kind of can sometimes be a little tricky, like it's still stuck up in here. Up in here, up in here. Okay. And I think the trick, like the best advice I could give you for using a craft knife would be low and slow. Just take your time. It's not a race. And I think that that would be like the best advice. And I think I'm going to take these. I might regret this. This could very well be a regret. But we're not giving up on it yet. And I'm just getting this little thing to the corner there. Okay, so I'm going to take this and I'm going to trim off a bunch of this that's like in the screen. And then I'm going to go to, I need to get kind of an angle where my scissors can get in here. And then have like these feel gummed up. So I'm going to stick those aside. I'm going to grab another pair of little scissors. These are from Spellbinders. Oh, we're going to talk about Haagen-Dazs. Y'all, this week I did the Haagen-Dazs thing twice. Coffee flavored Haagen-Dazs ice cream. I cannot say no to it. Okay. So I'm just going around that curve with my scissors, just right up against that line. Just again, slow and steady wins the race on that. And now I have my little screen cut out, which is going to be our little shaker bit. Okay. So you know what's funny about the Patience Prickly Pink, I want to call you Prickly Pear, Prickly Pink crafter, is that I only have Patience in things like this for crafting. So it's because I get that, that it just gets in my mind like, oh, this idea, and wouldn't this be so cute? So for this one, I just want the speech bubble to go over the pink part of my phone so that my phone is pink and my speech bubble is white, although we may color it in with like a blue marker or something. And so I'm just going around this, and it's pretty easy to do with these scissors. So then we'll have that piece. And we'll have this. I don't love that, but maybe we'll see how this goes. We might have to trim this differently. Okay. For now, we're not gonna freak about this little corner that I have right here that I don't love. Let me zoom you in just a little. Okay. So that's what we have, and this is that corner right here that I don't love. But when we get everything down, it may not even matter. So we're just gonna leave this for now, and I will zoom you back out, and let's get to die cutting some other things. And this mat looks, ooh, let's get it a little straighter. Okay. Perfect. Okay. Set that aside, and I'm gonna grab this, which is the Sunshine die plate. Super cute. It looks to be a tiny bit smaller than an A2 size, so you get that nice little border around it. So I'm going to use that, and I'm going to die cut it from this cardstock, which this is a sea glass cardstock, but it is a Stamp Market sea glass cardstock. And I'm just going to die cut that. And I may die cut it a couple of more times from white cardstock to give it a little bit of like dimension. And Ninja Creamy. Okay, you're loving your Ninja Creamy, Julie. I want to know about, does anybody have a Ninja Creamy that has a dairy-free recipe? Because I think my husband would totally dig that if we could make him some dairy-free ice cream. Also, look how cute that is. Just so you understand, my husband's allergy is anaphylaxis. It is not just like hives and stuff. He has to have dairy-free, so no milk. Eggs are fine, but not milk. A lot of people, when we say dairy allergy, they think milk, but that's not it. So we're gonna do that, and then I'm gonna die cut it a couple of more times, which I could have done this ahead of time, but I thought we would just take our time and walk through this today. So I'm gonna die cut this 2 more times from white cardstock. So if you have some dairy-free ice cream recipes for the Ninja Creamy, then you can send them my way via Instagram or Pinterest or all of the above. Email is fine too. Carissa@sprinkledwithglitter.com. 1 R, 2 S's. And let's just clean that up. And I just realized, I think I'm going to need 1 more die cut of the phone for my back side. Coconut milk is tricky. Susan, do you use it? Because coconut milk does not have like the true creaminess of like some of the other ones. You can tell just who it is by the colors they pick in their hands. You know what? When I was picking the colors for this card last night, I kind of set them out before I left the craft room for the day yesterday. I had this all ready to go. I really wanted to go away from these colors, but my heart was telling me just to go with it. So sometimes you just follow your heart, you know? I'm going to grab this again, and I'm going to grab that phone die cut, and I'm going to die cut it from pink because that will be the back of our shaker. Yes, sorbets are good. It's too, you know how like that when we go on vacation, there's a lot of places that have like gelato stations that have sorbets, and theirs is like a little, it's not as icy, it's a little creamier than normal sorbets. So it's, if we could figure out how to do that, we'd be doing real good. Okay. So we have our pieces, and I'm going to grab some plastic sheets. Now these are the ones I ordered a lot of these I'm going to text Ellen and see where we can get something similar, because this plastic is so good, so thick. Love it a lot. But now that the Ellen Hudson shop is closed, I don't know where we can get them. I did order quite a bit of it before they kind of shut their doors. But I'm going to see if she knows where we can get something similar. So I'm just going to take and trim down a piece of this acetate that will be small enough to go behind our window that we're making here. And then we may cut a couple more like hearts and stuff to go on this. Trying to figure out what I'm looking for and what I need here. So I'm going to start, no, this is too wide. I have 1/8 inch score tape here. That was my 1/4 inch. It was too wide. And I'm going to put this on the back side of the cell phone die cut that we have. And in my brain all the while, I'm still workshopping in my head kind of how I'm going to fix that corner of that speech bubble that I don't love. I suppose we could leave it pink, but I really wanted it to be a different color so it stood out from the phone itself. So I have my score tape here. Oh, Inked event. Julie's at the Inked and Inspired event. I'm so glad to hear that. I would love to hear if you are all joining in on that. It's the first ever weekend event from the stamp market. It's called Inked and Inspired. And it is the 20-something, 21st, 20th. I think I leave the 19th. And it's classes. It's just me and Amy teaching throughout the weekend. So I will have 2 or 3 classes, I think, with Amy throughout the weekend. Ooh, do I want the background of that pink? Okay, we're going to go with it. All right. Let me grab some foam strips from scrapbook.com for my shaker window. I just think that this is going to be the easiest way to do this. I'm not going to build up a ton of dimension on this shaker window. I'm going to just go a little like less. I'm not going to go quite as hard on the shaker guts. So these are the strips from scrapbook.com. I will link them later. You can see they're about an 1/8 inch wide. They have, I believe, a 2mm loft, which is pretty standard. And I'm going to take this and go right around the outside of the back of the cell phone. And it doesn't matter to me that I'm not right up against the actual screen because it's such a small area. So I'm just going to go all the way around this. But I am going to make sure that all of this foam butts up against the next one. Let me zoom you in just a little bit so that we contain all of our shaker bits in the center of that screen and nothing's leaking. A couple weeks ago, I did a shaker card and I had some major leaks. And that's because I used glitter on the backside. If you saw that video, you know what I'm talking about. But basically when I adhered the backer, it was made from glitter cardstock and the foam adhesive did not want to stick to the glitter cardstock. So to fix that, I ended up going back and kind of deconstructing the card, which it kind of came apart easy because, as I mentioned, the foam adhesive did not want to stick to the glitter cardstock. And I added some liquid glue to the foam adhesive and that kept everything in place. Okay, so now we have our little shaker window. We have some cardstock in there. And for the guts as I like to call them, I thought we would use these disco ball sequins, which, funny enough, I did not order when I ordered my stuff from Gina K, but these were a part of what I used for the, I'm trying to remember what it's called, from scrapbook.com, SBC Fest earlier this year. I did a class there. We created 3 cards and I used these disco ball sequins in a shaker card for that. So I have these on hand. They're really pretty. They're like an iridescent. They're not like sparkling clear because they're a little more iridescent and they have a little more warmness to sparkling clear than sparkling clear. But they're really pretty shaker filler or sequins. Turns out creamy, not ice. I know. Hopefully someone will send me a good recipe. Prickly pink crafter. So funny story, excuse me. A lot of these events that I teach, I create the card projects like well in advance for them. And so I was just thinking the other day that I need to go back and look at how I put those cards together for the stamp market event. So I'm ready to, I need to prep my stuff and get that all ready to teach so that I know what I'm doing. I'm sure it'll all come back to me. I just need to look at it. I can share a link for the stamp market event. However, I talked to Amy, who's the owner of the stamp market, last night, and she said that they don't have any more kits left. So, but you can kind of peek at it and see if it's something you maybe want to do next year. So, all right, shaker element done. And I'm just going to set that aside and I'm going to go ahead and adhere these layers together. And SBC Fest does have another event coming up. And I have some exciting news too, which I'm super excited about. If you were around for the Spellbinders event earlier this year, then you know that I have a new line coming. It will be available in October, and I don't think I'm spilling the beans because it was spilled at that Spellbinders Weekender event, and I'm not showing you the products, but I will just say, I'll give you a little hint that I am totally in my disco ball era. So that is definitely where it's at for me right now. Okay, putting a little liquid glue on the back of here. And then I'm going to line this up with the white layer that's going to go underneath. Just kind of push that into place. I have some liquid glue kind of making a mess here. My craft knife was the closest thing to me, so it is bearing the brunt of my glue leakage. And I'm looking at the time and I'm definitely thinking we're not getting to 2 cards today, but I can definitely finish this card and it's coming together so cute. I love this. Isn't this going to be adorable? I love that. I'm actually making this with my husband in mind. So a lot of us have a hard time creating for the men in our lives. And I'll probably just create this and stick it in the back of my cards for like our anniversary or sometime that I just need to appreciate him. Because he is definitely one of the reasons that I am able to do everything that I am able to do. He is on my team for sure. But there's a little stamp in there. I think it says "Hey Hot Stuff" that I thought I would use. And he always accuses me of loving my phone more than I love him. Thought that would be a cute card for him. I'm gonna stack up the second layer behind here. Try not to squish as much glue out this time. Okay. How do we feel about this cute little background? So cute. Just gonna lay that. And now we're gonna figure out, while we do this, while that dries, I'm just gonna kind of figure out what I wanna do about this. Now that I have the shaker bits in this, I'm not hating this corner as much, so I think I'm just gonna live with it. But let's look at our stamp set and see what we wanna use. Hey, hot stuff. See that one? So cute. So I think I'm gonna stamp that. Again, I'm gonna go on to some colored cardstock and use like a white embossing powder and then die cut this out. So we have not cleaned the phone stamp yet, but that's okay. And what I thought I would do for this one, this is different, right? Okay, I know you all say I'm using the same colors I always use, but this is a little different than what I would normally use. This is Concord and 9th Peacock cardstock, and I am going to heat emboss this Hey Hot Stuff sentiment onto the top. So I'm going to prep this, and once again use my Versamark ink. I have a little surprise color for you too, because I know the Peacock's, I mean, it's in my wheelhouse, but it's like a little darker than what I normally use. And I have another little accent that I think I'm going to bring in, I'm thinking, and do something a little unexpected with the colors on here. So we can decide together. This was my way. I know that a shaker card is not necessarily super masculine, but I guess you could send this to a friend too. This was a way of bringing a little bit of the masculine energy to this card by bringing in a little bit darker blue. So that's why I kind of thought that the darker blue, but I have kind of, I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about it, but you guys get ready to answer the questions because I'm going to ask you your opinion here in just a minute. Let me heat set this. I'm using a super fine detail embossing powder. It's kind of my go-to, and I get great results, especially on like a little sentiment like this. I'm going to let it cool for just a second, and then I'm going to grab my microfiber cloth. Let's just wipe up everything while we're at it. And then I'm going to buff off the extra powder from that cardstock. And then I'm going to grab the coordinating die. Oh boy. I think it's this one. Oh yes, good. I'm going to die cut that. And I'm going to use the smaller plates for my Anna Griffin Empress to die cut this. And here is my idea for my unexpected color. Okay, so you guys can vote here. I'm going to use the heart from the set, and I thought I would bring in some Wildberry. How do we feel about the Wildberry? Just as a little pop of accent, heart accent, not anything crazy. I think what we'll do is actually, before I die cut, I'm gonna stamp this in like a tone on tone situation and then die cut it with my other. So if you're feeling the Wildberry, let me know. If you're not, let me know. Totally okay. We can disagree, it's okay. Thinking like this. Okay, we're getting our first weigh-ins on the Wildberry, and so far it's a yes. I've got one yes on the Wildberry. If you're watching this on the replay, you can also chat along and just let me know, like, hey, I was not down with the Wildberry, or when you pulled out the Wildberry, I got so excited. Okay, we're loving the Wildberry. Good, I'm so glad. It's just like kind of a little unexpected, right? It's not, I could have gone red. Red would have been so easy. I could have gone watermelon, which is one of my favorites. And that would have been so easy, but Wildberry and this Peacock, I mean, come on. That looks so good. And they're just like little pops to bring this palette in a little bit different direction. So I've taped those in place. I'm running them through. I have my heart. Cute. And my sentiment. It's so tiny. Oh, I love that. I really do. I wasn't sure. I mean, honestly, sometimes I make things and I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to love it. But I do. I love this. I love that little hint of Wildberry with the pink and the Peacock. Oh, it's going to be cute. Okay. It wants to stick to my hand, but this is what I'm thinking. I think that's adorable. I love it. Tell me what you think. Let's get this popped up. I think we should pop it all. Pop it all. That's how I roll. You all know that I love dimension. I like big cards, and I cannot lie. You other brothers can't deny. I really need to write the rest of that song because I say that a lot, but then I never have the rest of it that goes with it. So I'm going to just pop this on here because it's easier for me to work with this once it's all one piece instead of trying to fuss with it. Now, this sentiment is even too small for my small little strips over there, so I'm trimming down just some of my DIY foam adhesive, which I make my own foam panels, and I have a video here on YouTube, and I just trim those down for little pieces of foam that I need now, because a while back, here's what happened. A while back, 3M changed their foam adhesive, and I just did not like it. I was struggling with it. It's kind of sticky and does not like cut very well, and so I was on a mission to find some foam adhesive that I could live with, that I was happy with, and it ended up it just took me down this trail to where I started making my own foam adhesive sheets and then just cutting them up. Oh my gosh. How cute. Love that. And then that's going to be like that. Oh, the dogs, they have something to say. My question is, do I pop this up? And when I have a question like that, oh, Mochi. Mochi's going to talk. Mochi and Charlie have something to say right now to the neighbor's dog, so they're going to go say that. So I apologize for any barking that you might hear. Oh, Mochi. I do love that there's this border. You know what I want to do with this? I'm going to go right there. I'm going to get some cardstock. Be right back. BRB. You can still hear me. You can still talk to me. I'm going to shut the door so that Mochi and Charlie can just live their best life barking at the neighbor's dog. I am looking for, I still should have some, another one of those things that I wish I could get more of. Oh, here it is. I have enough. This is the Essentials by Ellen linen cardstock. It has just a little bit of a texture, a linen texture. It is definitely not something that is fabulous for stamping, but when you're using a white card base and you feel like it needs just a little something extra, that texture really can make a difference. Now, if you don't have a linen cardstock, another way of doing this would be just like a simple embossing folder or something like that. That just gives a little bit of texture to the card base and helps it kind of just bring it to life. Yes, Mochi and Charlie. They're making their noise. They're living their best life. Okay. So I'm thinking here, here, and then do we pop this up? I think maybe we do. I think maybe we do. Okay, let's get this on. So I'm going to do this with liquid glue. Again, this is going to need a second for it to kind of adhere down onto the card without it kind of arching up. And I really need to do a good tip cleanse on my Barely Art glue here. And by tip cleanse, what I do is I will take this entire nozzle off the top and just soak it in some warm water and get it kind of cleaned out. I'm towards the end of my, it needs to be refilled also. It's time for maintenance. That's what it's telling me. But I will do that every so often. And you can really tell a difference when you're towards the end of your glue. I think probably because there's more air in the bottle naturally, that you get a little more of the goobers. Oh, Linda, thank you so much for the super chat. I want to tell you something. That's for pumpkin spice latte or puppy snacks. I'm so glad that I'm helping to make your workday go faster. I will tell you that is my very, very first super chat that I've ever gotten. So Linda, you are my first super chat. We will qualify that. So thank you so much. I really appreciate that. I'm going to put that down. And while this is kind of setting up as far as the glue goes, I'm going to go ahead and get, oh, they're really talking. Can you guys hear that? Because I wear a lapel mic, so I'm always wondering like how much you guys can hear. Maybe I need to go back and watch the replay of my own. But sometimes I wonder if they're like having these absolute fits like this, if you guys can hear it or if it's not something that you can hear because I'm wearing the lapel mic. They really are just going for it right now. So I did decide to do foam adhesive, and we'll put that right there to where it lines up with the edge. So we have that there. Now here's something to consider. You can always do like multiple layers of something to make a shaker card, right? So you can build up dimension with die cuts, but I would never want to cut, you know, like 5 or 6 of these screens out in order to do a shaker card for this little bitty thing. So the foam adhesive, it looks pretty clean from the side, but not a route I would go. And then I think what I'll do is do this. And I'm feeling like, no, that's pretty straight. It felt crooked there for a second. I think I'm going to pop this up again because I know I'm not sending this in the mail because my husband lives with me. So I'm so glad that either you can barely hear it or that you can't hear it and that it doesn't bother you. They kind of go into these, they get a little excessive with their barking at times, and it tends to be when either the neighbor's dog is barking or our yard man comes, and then we just go into these fits of rage and we cannot, you know, contain ourselves. They love to look out. There's this window in the front of our house, and they love to look out the shutters, And so if they're barking out the front of the window, what we'll often do, or their front window, what we'll often do is close the shutters. But now Charlie, who is, she's the young one, she just turned 2, and she is, she's a Bernedoodle. She's like one of those really smart dumb dogs. I don't know how else to put it, but she's super smart, but she's also very like dingy too. But she has learned to open the shutters now. So we can't even like keep them out of that by closing the shutters, because they're like, no, we have something we want to see and something we want to do. Now I am just adhering this on with some more foam adhesive because I'm extra like that. I'm going to write the rest of my song. We have 2 Dobermans and a Cavalier, Linda does. And Marisha, I want to hear what kind you have. So let's get this kind of centered up here. And I'm having it at an angle. So I love that. It's very like pop art, right? It feels very pop art to me. Love that. Okay, and then I'm going to finish this off with a few more sparkling clear sequins because, or not sparkling clear, but disco ball sequins, because I can. Because I can. And you know what? Now that I said that this is going to be for my husband, I bet you money he somehow comes in here and horks it and takes it and gives it to me. Okay. Hey, Mindy. And then I think what I'll do is just kind of scatter them. I like to do like a few different sizes. That one's ruined now because I glued it on the wrong, oh my gosh, they are driving me nuts, you guys. I could crate them when I'm live, which that keeps them, but I feel bad doing that. Just, okay, let's do this. I need a mix of these sizes. I'm having a hard time finding the smaller ones right now. Does this feel very pop art to you? Like I feel like we need a girl in like the little dot art to go with this, like talking on the phone. Let's see. I think I'll put one right here. Sometimes I like to put them on the outside of my shaker piece too, just to make it look like it's spilling out onto. I'll do one more here. And I think I'll do one more, if I can find a small one down here. Maybe like here-ish. Okay. Perfect. Oh my goodness. I'm happy with the way this turned out. I was a little like, is it going to work? Is it not? It feels very Carissa. Mindy, yes, you've missed the whole conversation about the color palette and how I went back and forth and tried to like, you know, convince myself to use other colors, but I ended up, you know, just going in all in on these colors. But I brought in something a little different with the Peacock and the Wildberry just for kind of something unexpected Carissa. So it still feels me, but also it feels a little unexpected. So I just want to say thank you so much, Gina K, for sending over these products to me. I really have loved playing with this mini set. And the thing that I love about this set right here, this little Best Friends Forever set, is that it's a small set, so it's on the affordable side. And if you didn't have this background, you could definitely do it with masking, or you could do it with like a stencil that you may have in your stash. Or you could even just ink blend kind of like a glowing area in the center to make this cell phone kind of pop off, almost like it was, you know, like the light from the screen of the cell phone. So that could be a really fun way to use this card as well. So let me know if, look at my hair. Oh, it's crazy. Let me know in the comments right now if you have any questions. I would love to answer those for you before I go. I'm going to stick around here for about another 2 minutes. That'll put us at about right at an hour and 5 minutes, minus the intro. So if you have any questions, let me know. And then I'm going to head out to lunch to celebrate Kara, my sister-in-law. My daughter is back to school. My husband's back to school. Are your kids back to school? Grandkids back to school? Nieces, nephews? Are they back in school yet? I'm kind of enjoying the days, but I do have my daughter who's home from school today, and she's doing a little work for me. So let me know how that's going for you guys, getting the school year off to a great start. So I think my husband will probably steal this. I thought maybe I would give it to him, but I bet you money he gives it to me. So I just made my own card. What was the name of your craft knife? This is actually came in a Cricut tool set. So it's just, and then the blades are replaceable. You just pop them out with this thing on the top, and then you can pop them in, and they just stay in there. All right. Where do I get my layout design inspiration? I'm not sure that I have a particular place that I get it. I think overall I usually have a few things that I do, and my few things that I do are generally like center weighted, lower right corner weighted, or middle upper weighted. So like upper third, centered, or lower right third is kind of where it's almost like here, here, and here are the kind of 3 focal areas that I tend to lean towards the most. I think those are always like go-tos for me. So I will often cluster my focal area, my focal points in those areas. So that's a little tip for you. All right. Well, thank you all. It looks like a lot of your kids and grandkids are back in school. I want to just say thank you so much for stopping by and joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this project. I have affiliate links in the description below. So if you're looking for anything that I used here today, be sure to check that. I'm going to add those strips to the box below to the supply list because I didn't have those thin foam strips in there before. So I'll make sure that I add that. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to share it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notifications here if you haven't already. Thank you all for joining me today. I am so glad you're here, and until next time, I hope you have a fabulous day. Thanks so much for stopping by and hanging out with me today. I hope you enjoyed this project. If you did, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe and turn on the notifications here on my YouTube channel so you don't miss any of my card making and paper crafting video tutorials. Thanks again, and until next time, I hope you have a fabulous day.